section 7.6 is solving multiple step inequalities. So they're going to involve addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, and a combination of those. So we've done these before. This is, we're going to solve and graph. We want the x by itself. We've got to get rid of the 15 first because it's farther away. So I'm going to add a negative 15 to both sides. So positive 15 plus negative 15 goes away. On the left-hand side, I have a 6x. I bring down my inequality. On the right-hand side, I have a negative 6. That positive 6 is multiplied by the x, so the way I get rid of it is I divide. So I'm going to get on the left-hand side x. I'm going to continue to bring the inequality down, and it's greater than negative 1. Now, I did not divide by a negative number, so I don't switch the direction of the inequality. Remember, the only time I do that is if I multiply or divide by a negative number. If I graph these, I'm going to put a negative 1 in the center. To the left is going to be negative 2. To the right is going to be 0. I have an open circle on my negative 1, and it points in that direction because that's the direction of the arrow. All right, on this one, I'm going to add a negative 13 to both sides. I bring down the 5x, bring down the inequality. I'm going to get a 70. The 5 is multiplied by the x, so to get rid of it, I have to divide. So I have x is greater than 14. So again, to graph it, the 14 would go in the center, 13 on the left, 15 on the right, open circle at 14, and it shades to the right. Sometimes you have to reverse the inequality symbol because of dividing or multiplying by a negative number. You have done those already, so let's continue with these. These take a couple of different steps. I need to put the a's together, so I'm going to add a negative 2a to both sides, which is going to leave me with negative 5a is less than or equal to 25. Well, the way that I get the a by itself, it's multiplied by a negative 5, so I've got to divide both sides by a negative 5. Well, I divided by a negative, so I switch the direction of the inequality, and that gives me my answer. If they asked you to graph it, negative 5, negative 6, negative 4, close circle, and it would point to the right. Now pay attention to the instructions because it either says solve and graph or just solve. It might say solve and check, which means you would have to plug it back in and see if it works. This one, I need to add a 2a to both sides. So I have a negative 2a on the left side is less than or equal to 23. I'm going to divide by the negative 2. That's going to switch the direction of the inequality. It's going to go there negative 11 and 1/2 times. Now negative 11 and a half is halfway between negative 11 and negative 12. Open or closed circle, and it's going to go in the direction of the right. All right. Then sometimes you have distributive property with this stuff. You've got to do the distributive property first and then solve. So I have 3 times 6, which is 18, plus a 3 times c, which is a 3c, is less than 126. I'm going to add a negative 18 to both sides. So I have 3c is less than, let's see, negative 18. That's going to give me 108. Okay. So then I'm going to divide by the 3 because the 3 is multiplied by the c, and it's going to give me c is less than 36. Okay. It may say the graph, it may not say. I have to distribute the 1/2 here. So 1/2 of 2 is 1, so I have a d plus a 3 over 2 is less than negative 8. I'm going to add a negative 3 over 2 to both sides. So I get D is less than, now common denominator here would be 2, so the negative 8 becomes a negative 16 over 2. That's what's equal to negative 8. Plus a negative 3 over 2. So I have D is less than negative 19 over 2, which is negative 9 1/2. Okay, so if you were to graph this one, negative 9 1/2 is halfway between negative 9 and negative 10. So I would have an open circle and it would shade that way. Your homework on this is page 357 through 358, 13 through 35 odd.